Welcome to your awakening journey. Today's destinations include higher consciousness and actualized potential. If all ascenders could now please be seated in a comfortable meditative posture, we're about to ascend. You are now arriving at your host, Bryan Henry.
What is up, Ascenders? Welcome back to another episode of Awaken. This is episode 18. I'll be your host for today. My name is Bryan Henry, and this show is brought to you by TogetherWeAscend.com. So this one's going to be a fun one. I'm really looking forward to this one, and that's because I'm joined by a good friend today. Actually, this is the first time that I'm having a friend that I have a bit of a relationship with prior to having on the show. Most of the episodes that I've done before is with influencers and leaders that I had just met and decided, I feel that sort of resonance with you. Why don't we collab and do a show together? But this time around, I'm bringing on someone that I've gotten to know quite a bit over these last couple months, I'd say. And, I'm gonna let his energy do the talking, but you guys are gonna soon find out that this guy has an amazing, loving energy and vibe to him. And that's the very reason I'm bringing him on to share that with us. So without further ado, Sean, you're on, brother. What is up?
What's going on, man? I'm happy to be here. What's up?
I'm glad that you're deciding to do this, my man. So I guess let me start with this then. This is sort of new to you. You only recently started kind of putting yourself out there, and like I know you did your first live stream just like a week ago, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm not really used to doing live streams, so it's definitely new for me.
So I want to hear, what was it like taking that? How did that inspiration come about? I know it's a big step, right? Being able to put yourself out there live, it's an entirely different thing, and it takes a certain level of confidence to do that. So I want to know about that switch, that moment where you're like, I'm gonna do this.
To be honest, I don't know. I just felt I was literally, like, the first time I was literally just in my bed. I don't remember what I was doing. I was just in my bed, and all of a sudden it's just a light switch just came on, like, go live. So I got up, I got dressed, and I kind of, and it was very random. It was actually, I think the first live was on Thanksgiving. Was it on Thanksgiving, or was it?
Yes, I think it was.
Yeah, it was on Thanksgiving, and I was just going with it, and just letting the inspiration flow in the moment, and that's pretty much it.
You went with it. You heard the call, and you went for it.
Exactly.
I would say that we all hear the call, but not everybody answers.
Oh no, that's something that when you get that call, like, it's and it is really like a call, because it's like, it's inspiration just randomly hitting you. I've learned to listen to it. It's just, it can be a missed opportunity, and we want to take we want to take those opportunities. You never know what can happen.
Mm-hmm. I think all of us, I mean, maybe that's a bold statement, but I feel like all of us are receiving this constant stream of ideas and guidance, and all of these, it's happening all the time. But like I said, there's not everyone's answering to it. And I think what you said right there is, like, you don't want to miss that opportunity. That sort of mindset, that when something comes to me, when an idea comes to mind, when a message comes through, I'm going to open up and let it out. That's when you really start to step in your power, because that's when you're letting your true self out. And that's what I'm seeing in you, someone that has had it in them for some time, I bet. But recently I'm definitely seeing you step into just not being different. You're not different than you were once were, but you're being more than you. You're being more of you.
I like that. I like that. I'm being more of you. That's a perfect way to describe it. That really is.
So talk to me more about the that confidence, because it like I said, it does take confidence to be comfortable bringing that forth. How have you been able to cultivate that? Where's that coming from?
Um, I think it's just coming from not listening to fears anymore. Mainly for me, anyways. Just following your intuition. Following your passion. The desire to express yourself. Um, the desire to express myself above my fears, and just listening to my inspiration above all of it. So that's really yeah. So the fears, fears, listening to the fears is what holds us back, and it held me back for a long time. So I think that's why for a long time I didn't really start expressing myself fully more before. And now I'm doing like a live right now. I'm writing all of my ideas. It's great, man. Once you really just start to let go.
That's it right there. Letting go. It's it's letting go. It's not a trying to be something you're not. And that's where I think people trip up. They feel like, who am I to hop on a live stream? Who am I to post my ideas online? Who am I, like, they we get stuck because we feel like we don't have something to offer. What we have to offer isn't worth anything. And I guess the big message that I think where we're trying to get through here is that it's not about living up to someone or some standard, or living up to being something that you don't currently feel you're not. It's about bringing yourself to the table. And you know the other thing that I say is that being yourself can be the easiest thing to do, because it's letting go of feeling like you need to do anything else, letting go of the fear not to. So I guess the other thing that plays into this, and you kind of touched on it, is the feeling that you've been getting doing this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that when you start really coming into expressing your truths, it can be scary because you don't know how people are going to respond. Like for me, I was still thinking about um, how are people going to look at this, and I think uh, I think after a little while, you just you get comfortable with it. You get comfortable. It becomes easier. It becomes easier to be yourself, and you realize that some people they resonate with your authenticity because they're seeing the authentic in you, and I think that's what people really want to see, even if it's not always agreeing on whatever idea is shared. I think that there's a lot of respect that comes into just being yourself, being more yourself. So
No, it, I think, yeah, you're right. It's the people gravitate towards authenticity, and even if it's not something that uh, it, there's a certain level of respect and appreciation that people will naturally feel for someone that they can sense is being their authentic and true self. And why I think that is because we all want to feel comfortable being ourselves. That's ultimately what we're moving towards, trying to feel more and more comfortable and confident in who we really are, feeling like we don't have to put on a show, put on an act, because it feels free to be able to be yourself and not have to worry about or not being concerned about anything else, right? Just being yourself really, it's such a great feeling when you're confident and comfortable enough doing that. So what I think is the case is people that are doing this, they're inviting others to do the same.
Yeah.
Right? They're giving others permission to do the same. They're making other people feel comfortable being themselves, because it's a sort of inspiration, right? If this person in front of me can come through like this and feel this sense of freedom and confidence and just being themselves, which often comes with these quirks and these what we call flaws, right? Once someone's able to bring that to the table and be honest about that, like I said, it has this way of encouraging others to do the same. And that's why we love authenticity so much, because it makes us feel more comfortable being authentic ourselves.
Right. Because it sends a message out that, hey, I'm not afraid to to be who I really am, and you shouldn't either. It's you know I think that a lot of people feel scared to really be themselves because they see that a lot of other people around them are also not being themselves. So they're scared to stick out because they know that, or they feel that the attention could go directly to them, and if maybe they feel that they're not ready for that, or but I think, and it's just going back to the same thing, just letting go of the fears and just being more of you. And it really sends that message out to other people that hey, this is really okay. It's okay to be yourself. It's okay to finally release those ideas that you've had and that you've just hidden in your own mind for so long. It's okay.
Mm-hmm. And then I I see. I believe that that's the greatest thing that you can do for someone. Make them feel accepted and encouraged to be them, because
Yeah.
it's honestly the greatest feeling. There's no greater sense of peace and freedom that you can find than being in that state where you're totally 100% okay with you.
Right.
So I'll say it again, my man. I'm super excited to see you coming through with more of you. Um, Now we kind of I got into this because well, one side of it is because, like I said, I know how great of an experience it is once we start to unfold into our and open up about our authentic selves. How great it feels to do that.
Hmm.
But on the other side of that, one of the other big reasons why I'm glad this is happening is because I know how other people can benefit from hearing what you have to share. I know that this isn't just about what you're going to get out of this experience. For me, it's also about what I know those that hear what you have to share are going to get out of it too, because you bring through some high frequencies, some high vibes. Um, let me ask you this, man, because I think in just hearing you respond to this question, um, I'm gonna feel it, but I also think anyone that hears this is gonna feel it as well. Sean, what are you grateful for?
What am I grateful for? Wow, that is a big question. I'm grateful to be here right now. Um, I'm grateful for this very moment, to be on this live with you. And I'm grateful for all of those that are watching or that are going to watch after. I'm grateful for so many things. I'm grateful for to, to have the abilities to love and to connect. You know, it's all amazing. I'm grateful to just be. I mean that with every, you know, every cell of my being, because you know the cells, the cells that make up who we are absorb everything we say, think, and experience. So I want all of the DNA in each cell to know that.
I love it, bro. I love it. It's is that not the answer to bring every part of you, every bit of your being to be grateful for just it all, just being? That's it
Yeah,
right
man.
there. That's the answer we're all been looking for. Live over. The show's over. We don't need to say any more. I'm
Thank
done.
you for
Awake.
coming.
I'm closing the
No.
podcast on that note. I don't have anything else to tell you guys. That's it. But jokes aside, it really, I think, is the center of the joy and bliss that we all seek for, gratitude. And when I say gratitude, and I'm glad that you got here. Yeah, it's nice to look towards the different aspects of our life, the different people, the different things that we have, and say, I'm grateful for that, I'm grateful for that, I'm grateful for that. But more central and more importantly than any of that is cultivating a sense of gratitude for simply being.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, and this is not to undermine my appreciation for all of the people that have come into my life, all of the great things that have happened to me and that are happening now. It's, you know, being grateful for being, you know, it includes all of that. It includes everyone that you've ever encountered, every situation, every experience you've ever had, because without being, you wouldn't have any of that. So for me, it includes all of it. That's why I say when you ask me what am I grateful for, it's such a big question because it has a big answer.
The big answer is it all.
Yeah.
It all. So what comes through to me right now is the question: tell me about a time in your life that you had trouble connecting to that sense of gratitude.
Um. Well, I mean, a time in my life, I spent most of my life not being grateful. You know, to be honest, um, I didn't find this inner gratitude, and I didn't really start to feel it until until just a year ago. Um, for those of you that know, and for those of you that don't know, you're going to know now. My mother passed away last year, and of course, you know, I went through a period of you know, a very dark period. I think losing a parent is one of the hardest things um, that can happen. But it also eventually came to a point where I was grateful for just being, you know, for being alive, for being in the now, because physically she doesn't get to have that anymore here, physically. So that just sparked that inner gratitude, to just be thankful for everything, for every moment, all of the good situations, to all of the bad situations, everything.
Hmm. So for you is that moment where you realize that this isn't going to last forever?
Um, I wouldn't say it's not that it's not going to last forever. It's just it's a realization. It's a it's a realization of the moment of now, you know, like thinking, okay, wow, I'm really here right now. I'm really here. This table is here right now. That this cup of water, this coffee mug that I'm using it for water is here right now. All of these things, and that's here now, that you experience, that you get to see and experience and be with. Um, it's not about it not lasting forever. It's just a realization of that we get to experience it, you know, that we get to be here, and that's just the start of it for me anyway. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense.
No, it's making a lot of powerful sense. I think what I'm feeling, your words even guide me to, is it's about seeing the wonder in life. I think the flip side to all of this is taking it for granted, and kind of moving through life with in this sort of autopilot state where you aren't really considerate and too conscious of just this moment that this is happening, right? And it's before us. And again, I think the best way I can describe what I'm trying to get across here is that the shadow to this is taking it for granted, letting it pass by, rather than letting it pass by, just not connecting to what is right here before us in the now. And it's just completely changing in state of being when you take that moment to say, like, this is what we got, like, this is all that we got. And why wouldn't I find a sense of joy for having it? The other thing that I've said before is that it could have been anything, right? Like, it literally could have been anything, right? And it's this is what is. And doesn't that in itself make it special?
Absolutely. And that realization is just the beginning. You know, it's like you feel alive. You know, it's like coming alive for the first time, even though you've been there, you just haven't really paid attention, you know, because and the thing is that I think naturally as kids, like when we're younger, I think naturally as kids, we feel that way, you know, because there's a sense of curiosity constantly, a sense of wonder all the time. Like, what is this, you know? And I think over time, we slowly leave out of that state of consciousness, because, you know, a lot of us are taught a lot of different things that kind of take our focus away from the wonder side of everything, and into more like a should type of way.
Mm-hmm.
So just we kind of lose track over the time. And I think that there are multiple ways to, you know, come back into that. And for me, it was unfortunately, you know, how it was. But you know, I'm just thankful, man. I'm thankful to be here now. Like, I'm thankful for you right now. I'm thankful for everybody.
Let's on that note, let's give a quick shout out to the senders that are with us live. I think I speak for Sean and myself when I say I'm thankful for Greg, I'm thankful for Kay, I'm thankful for Amanda, I'm thankful for Cindy, Nancy, Thank you guys for joining us. It's amazing to have you guys here. Whether or not we're bringing the conversation to you guys or not, I personally can feel the energy of you guys here, and it's absolutely wonderful to have all of you with us in the live stream. And then, of course, those of you that are catching the replay, we love you too. Sean, I'm bringing it back to a couple of words that you brought up there, and I'm so glad that you did, because this is it. We're getting into some good shit here. Curiosity. You brought up curiosity.
Yeah.
I had mentioned wonder, and then you said that as kids we're in that state of curiosity, right? We're looking out into the world, and we're just curious about everything that's going on. We want to really observe and see what this is. Every little thing before us, we're trying to just know, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's ultimately what that all of us on the spiritual path are doing today, just trying to connect to our reality, right?
Yeah.
And kids are just doing it so naturally. They don't have to think about it, because that's all they've known, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've never been in that place where they were distracted by all the things that we end up getting distracted by. They from day one, what is this? Let me explore. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's another good word to
Explore.
throw.
Yes.
Um, how do we cultivate that again? I guess another thing that we should probably look at is what keeps us from that, because if that's the state we were in when we were kids, and then eventually we get conditioned and pulled out of it, what's happening there? Why do you feel like we what are the things that pull us out of that state of curiosity?
Oh man,
It's a
I
tough
gotta go
one,
into
eh?
this now. No, let me start. What brings us out of that? Well, I think a lot of it starts with our parents. And I can't say this for everyone. I try not to speak for everybody because I know everyone has different experiences. But I think that in many of the cases, it starts with the parents. You know, parents teaching um a lot of structured ways. A lot of rules. There's nothing wrong with rules. A lot of rules, a lot of no's. I actually think that in a recent podcast that you did, that there was this very same discussion. But a lot of no's, a lot of rules, and then in the schools, I think in the schools we kind of as we're in school, we see a lot of other kids all the time, and we become exposed to a lot of whether it's some bullying or we become exposed to everyone in the schools, and we don't know not to allow their mindsets to affect us. We're not taught that, and as kids, we're so young. I think even if we were taught that, we were I think that if our parents, for example, tried to teach us that, maybe we wouldn't be able to really grasp it fully back then. But I think we're just exposed to a lot, and whether it's society, political ideas, because some of that starts coming around in the teenage years, and it's all of it just takes us away from being grateful in the moment of now. It takes us away from that curiosity of, wow, look at that chair. That chair is just sitting there, and I'm looking at it, and it's right there, and it's just wonderful. Um, I think that I think that's what happens.
We get I guess it's as simple as getting pulled by thoughts of anxious thoughts of the future, and
I think as we learn, um, we're not taught to always come back to the moment of now and that inner gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
and curiosity. So we forget about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's absolutely, um, it's if you really consider it, it's kind of crazy that that's the norm these days, right? It's honestly become the norm. And although I will say, I'm a very optimistic guy. I think we're moving in the right direction.
Right.
Um, but yeah, when you consider it, that autopilot state that I described is it's the norm. Most people are living in that state, and you know it's interesting because I feel like all it takes is just one reminder, one wake up call to remember. It's as simple as just remembering, like, I don't need to I don't need to feel stressed out. I don't need to feel worried or anxious, or all of that's happening internally. I'm creating that. And I guess
Uh-huh.
the I know that this book could change your life as well, but it's the power of the now, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. We just and even now, as you know, as an adult, and even though I've found that connection again to curiosity, wonder, and the inner gratefulness. Um, sometimes it's difficult to stay connected to that because there's so much going on. You have bills to pay, situations at work, with other people. Um, and it becomes difficult to stay connected all the time. So, and it's because of how things have happened over eons. Everything has become so structured, um, society wise, and now we have so many things going on the news, politics and wars, and issues with other countries. Something is being said about the president right now every 5 seconds. you know um there's just a lot going on, and even coming back to that realization, it for me, it's still difficult at times to stay connected.
Mm-hmm.
So
The other thing that just kind of occurred to me is that all these things that we're describing that pull us away from the now, I believe they're all rooted in fear. Ultimately, I feel like if we didn't fear anything, we would naturally be present.
okay,
Does that
I
make
I can definitely see that. Yes, yes.
Okay, cool. Um, this is it's a survival mechanism that once served us, and perhaps in
Mm-hmm.
some scenarios does serve us, but of course in these contexts that we brought forth there, it doesn't make sense that we feel fear in some of the circumstances that we do. It doesn't make sense that we feel a sense of fear when we might be late to a deadline. The sort of fear and stress that we feel around our jobs and whatever it is that's bringing stress into our life, it's not justified. It's not it We shouldn't be feeling that way, right? And so
Right.
I guess it's just that moment where we decide that this fear, this feelings of fear doesn't serve me, and I'm gonna choose to let it go, which kind of comes back to what we started off with when we talked about you moving into your trip.
Mm-hmm. I think that with fear, and really with any other emotion that we experience, um, I think that it's okay to feel them. We are in human form right now, and what comes with that is emotions, and emotions being triggered by allowing certain thoughts. And I think that the fear can teach us. I think when we feel it, I think it's an opportunity, uh, to let it teach us. Even though so I think it does serve us in a way, because if we didn't experience fear, we would not know why beyond fear is better. I think I said that okay.
Yeah, it's understanding that it's through contrast that we understand something.
Yes.
Right. So what you're saying is those shadow side emotions allow us to experience the other side of the spectrum.
Right. Because it's positive and negative make one, and without the negative, we would not know the positive. I think that pretty much covers it.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
part.
it's a big point. You're definitely right that the I guess yeah, it comes back to that realization that that shadow side of the emotions and um those experiences allow us to move more deeply into the sometimes I even hesitate to use the word positive and negative because that implies that one is better than the other, right?
Right.
Now, of course, it's preferable, right? It's um, more pleasurable to be on the positive side of the spectrum, but yeah, no, it's definitely an important thing to understand that um, those shadow side emotions are there to guide us, to teach us, to help us experience the spectrum of emotions that we came here to experience. Actually, it's funny that um, you mentioned, I don't know if you saw the comment or not in the stream here, but you said Fair is here to teach us. One of the comments that we just got was Fair is a teacher, and that occurred right before you brought it up. So
Oh.
yeah, so it's you guys are onto something.
Well, I'm gonna go back to something that you said real quick about positive and negative. Um, I completely agree that a lot of times I don't like to use positive and negative. Most times when I use it, I use quotation marks because I think that everything is everything that we experience is neutral. It just is. And as when we're children, and going back again, as we're children, in that awareness of wonder and curiosity, before we're taught what something bad is, we just see it as an experience. Like when we're 2 or 3 years old and we want to touch the hot stove, and what does our mom say? Don't touch the hot stove. And what do? We do it anyway, because at the time we're thinking that it's just an experience. It's not anything good or bad. But I think we're taught a lot of what bad is, and so we see, or we're also taught what good is. Labels, just labels. So yeah, positive and negative, just labels. Duality. Um, all of it's really just one grand life experience.
Mm-hmm. Kay brings up a really potent comment here that I have to say out loud. She says, "The dance of duality, our souls chose to experience this."
Yeah, all of it.
All of it, right? And it's in our mind that we create this idea that there's good and there's bad, and of course, on one plane of thought, these this perception of duality is also here to guide us and to allow us this opportunity to grow. But yeah, I definitely think it's important that we recognize the neutrality, right?
Neutrality, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, the neutrality of everything, um, because then I think that opens up for the sense of freedom to just create whatever it is that you wish to create. I say this because something that I recently heard someone say, and it kind of opened my eyes up a little bit. Was she said the experience of financial abundance isn't inherently good, and the experience of financial poverty isn't inherently bad. They're both neutral,
Uh-huh.
and it's up to you to decide which one of those experiences you wish to experience. Both of
Right.
those experiences will offer you an experience, and thus both of those experiences will offer you growth, because as we experience whatever it is that we go through, where we're growing, regardless of what that is. And so what she was saying was they're both neutral. So you decide which one of those experiences you wish to have. One's not right, one's not wrong. They're all neutral, and you are the creator that gets to choose whatever it is that you wish to create.
Uh-huh.
So that one kind of really opened my eyes up to that, because obviously it's very on a more human level, it's poor is bad, wealthy is good. But I also think that the polarization of those two things can be a little bit um, creating that separation between the two can be come with its own problems. Though nothing really in that direction comes through to me here.
I think that I think that either separating the idea of both being one, and even including the idea of both being one, I think that they both can cause positive and negative experiences. I think that there's no escaping duality. If we choose to see that poverty and
Well,
wealthiness,
well,
wealth, poverty and wealth, if we see that they're both just neutral ideas, then ob- objectively there's a, you know because not everyone is on the same understanding yet. Objectively, it's not going to be seen as just one thing, so it's still going to have conflict within humanity, that idea. And just like having them as separate ideas, as poverty being bad and wealth being good, that can cause problems, or it can help. I think it's just all part of duality.
okay, tell you what, I kind of want to switch gears a little bit here. There's something
Okay.
that I wanted to bring up to see if you did have anything that you felt called to share. You well, you, I know, have had quite a bit of powerful I don't even know how to describe it, but I know, okay, well, let's mention this. I know that you have experience with astral projection. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. Um, Maybe we'll get into that a little bit if that's something that you're willing to speak to. But I actually want to hear about the experience that you were sharing with me more recently. I believe it happened in the hypnosis session, and I think you explored it a little bit more deeply on your own. Is that something that you're willing to get into?
Sure. Let's
Let's
do it.
let's hear it, brother.
So as I was, oh man, some people probably gonna think I'm crazy, but whatever. Um, as I was doing the session with another fellow ascender, um, she was taking. Well, how would I word this? I was guiding her through my hypnosis, or through me being in hypnosis,
Mm-hmm.
and I basically access the Akashic records, which is actually easier to do than most people think. It's not hard. Um, I accessed it, and I saw some of my previous lives, but the focus of that became, for me, what happens in between lives. There's a lot of talk in the spiritual community about contracts, about incarnating multiple times. There's a lot of discussion on this, and so for me, what I experienced was that in between lives, I was in a particular um, plane of existence. I'm still not 100% sure how to describe it, but I will have it all written down soon. And basically, all of I was a different being. I guess I'm not sure what it was, or what I was, or what I am was. But, so you see, even now, it's like it's still. I have to write it all down, but
Yeah.
But anyways, they gave there were some leaders, um, and they gave me an option to come back. Um, you know, the question before coming back is, did you finish? Did you finish your journeys? And I didn't feel finished. I didn't feel finished. I didn't feel complete yet. So I would go back. I would incarnate again, brand new life, new experiences, and upon my death, I would come back to the other plane of existence. And I learned that in this plane of existence that I'm talking about, and plane of existence is the only way I know how to describe it at the moment. If it was a planet or whatever, I learned that there is a focus for the inhabitants. That the focus is on Earth. Earth is being watched right now, but not in like well, I don't know if other ways, but from how I saw it, Earth is being studied. So we're incarnating on Earth, and we are having experiences. We're studying how life is progressing here, and we're coming back over and over to spread love and to it's such a wonderful mission. It's a mission. I say it's a mission because that's what it felt like. Like everyone in the plane of existence that I was in, that's what we're focused on. We're focused on incarnating back on Earth and spreading love, and to hopefully get us out of the eventually, even though it's going to take a long time, get us to a place where we're all ascending as one human race. Um, and it's just amazing. I don't even know. I'm not. See, right now I'm having a bunch of thoughts at the same time, and I'm not sure how to organize them. But do you want to say
What's
something
going
real
on?
fast?
Well, what's going on in your mind? If you're what's the noise sound like?
What?
I'm saying you're having a lot of thoughts in your mind. Are the thoughts around the experience, or is the thoughts
Yes,
around sharing the experience?
both.
Both. Okay. Because I can definitely understand if well, I definitely do understand um if it's thoughts around actually sharing this, because this is not something that's easy to do. Come out and
Yeah.
and share all these ideas, knowing that there may be people out there that might be skeptical. But I will say on that note as well, the type of audience that you're speaking to are an open-minded
Okay.
group, so I don't think there's any reason to be concerned that with that regard. But even still, I think even if this was in front of an audience that was mixed with people that you knew might be skeptical. Something tells me that with your newfound confidence in your truth, you'd have stuck with me and still shared the story that you have.
Oh
So I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
ask you, are you willing to go deeper?
Yeah, you know what? I'll go a little deeper.
Well, okay. Actually, one question for you. How when you're experiencing this,
mhm.
how what does that experience feel like? How visual is it? How are you receiving this knowing this information that you're experiencing?
Well, for the most part, when I was in that plane of existence, for the most part, I wasn't in my body in a hypnosis here.
Mm.
Um, well, I mean, of course, you know, I was still, but that's not where my awareness was. My awareness was, for the most part, in wherever I was, and it was like how right now I'm breathing and smelling and talking and seeing and hearing right now in this plane of existence, in the plane of existence that I was in during the hypnosis from here. I was doing all of that there. I could see everything so clear around me and smell all of the clean smells around. I saw a lot of these other beings walking around, and it was like a happy day at the park. It was a happy day at the park, you know, families, you know, little ones, mothers. Um, I saw people with plates of food, you know, like um, it's
You were there. You were there. Like all
I
of
was
you was there.
there. Yeah, I was there, and it's I don't I still don't know how to wrap my mind around it 100%, but I was really there, and I could hear the conversations. The language was different. It wasn't English, but for some reason, I guess since my mind is also here, I was able to understand it. Like it was like an automatic translation to how I
Mm.
would understand it.
But you were still hearing that it
Yeah,
was in English, but you were
yeah,
able to wow.
yeah. That's so. I don't think that's something I've shared at all yet with anyone. But yeah, it's just thinking about it now. It's like wow, it's such a surreal experience. It's more than just being in a lucid dream. You know.
Why is that? What how does this experience differ from a lucid dream?
Well, I think that in a lucid dream, well, I and again I can't speak for everyone because truth be told, I don't have that much experience with lucid dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
But from the experiences that I have had, um, I was conscious of me, and I was conscious like I knew I was dreaming, and I knew that I could kind of take control of my dreams instead of just being the observer and how it automatically goes. Um, and but I couldn't like in my lucid dreams, I could not be there the way I was in that plane of existence doing that during that hypnosis. Um, like smelling everything as if it's you know as if it's in front of me now. Um, seeing I'm walking, you know, I'm walking and I'm seeing myself walk. I'm looking down and I see the floor. I see the floor, and the floor is right there as if it's right here in front of me right now. Um, in a lucid dream, it's not quite as vivid. Well, for me, it wasn't,
Mm-hmm.
but it's I'm not really sure how to describe the
And this
difference between.
just felt more real. It sounds like.
Yeah,
Uh huh.
pretty much.
Uh huh. So I want to get back to kind of what you experienced, but then the other question I had for you is, how much of the memory of this experience did you bring back? So in the moments that you were there, it felt real. You were there, all right. But when
Hmm.
you came back now into this vessel, how how clear and vivid is the memory of that experience? Is it just like any other memory that you had on
Yeah.
planet Earth? Really? Wow.
And actually it's yeah, it's like it's a memory like um
Wow.
and it's actually even more surreal even in a memory, which is crazy because as I'm accessing this memory right now, it's like I'm back there again. And the plane of existence that I'm talking about, it feels more real than here. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Bro, this is your experience. So if that's the way that comes through to you, that's it.
Yeah, but I think that like when I say more real than here, I don't mean like I don't mean that this plane isn't real at all, because obviously, we're here right now. But
Hmm.
what I mean is that I think that where I was, there was so much love and unity. Um there was so much love, unity, happiness, and everything was just so easygoing that there were no distractions from the now.
Hmm.
And here, even us being aware right now here of the now and being in that curiosity, we also know at the same time that there's a struggle going on um, within humanity. It's um, in the back of my mind, even right now, there's still that slight uneasiness of the fact that we're not there yet. You know, not like a fear or and it's not like a disappointment. It's just the knowing that all of humanity is not united yet. Um, it's just part of this current reality. And where I was in the other plane of existence, that distraction wasn't there. That idea wasn't there. Everything was just connected. Um, it was so beautiful.
I gotta hear more. What else do you remember?
Um, I remember smelling. I remember
How
hearing
long did this last, by the way? How long do you think?
see that I'm not entirely sure. There
Actually,
were
that's
there were
another thing. What was there? Did you have any sort of perception of time when you were there, or did that feel
when
distorted at all?
when I was there, there was um I wasn't aware of time there. So I don't know yet how time works there. If there is time at all, because time is just an idea that's as far as we know is here. Um, but I would say using the language of time here in 3D, I experienced maybe three different, I'll say scenes. Let's call them scenes. Three different scenes. I would say it was really only maybe a minute combined. um, and that's all of them combined because there were three different ones. Two of them was me seeing um, the process of, and you know what? I can't say just a minute because truth be told, in the moment of reviewing, all right, so I'm gonna go into something else real fast. So when I would die in one of my lives, and my soul would go, or spirit, whatever you want to call it, would go to the higher plane. Um, there are these beings in front of me, and there's no language, and you kind of merge with them. Well, I kind of merge with them, and then all of a sudden, I'm in a space. I'm in a space, like a void, and there are screens in front. there are screens, just hovering in midair, kind of like holograms. And I'm seeing every aspect of the previous life, that previous life that I just left.
So you also got a chance to see these lives as well, right?
Yes, I got to review it. It was like it was time to review it, to review my life that I just left.
Right, but in the session, did you have any time in first person view of being in those lives, or was it just the
Oh
experience
yeah.
of?
Oh no 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 no
Okay.
no no. Like I was sorry. I was in first person view as I was visiting those lives before I witnessed myself dying and leaving that life.
Mm-hmm. Did you witness your death as well?
It's strange because well, I don't know if strange is the right word, but like dying, which is something I've witnessed a few times already. It obviously it looks different as it's happening to you than from the outside. Um, like how I would describe it is you start to feel numb. Um, it depends on the type of death, of course. One of my deaths, I was brutally murdered. So that's an experience. And then a couple of them, I died naturally, like of old age.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think when you die naturally of old age, you just there's a period from before that you kind of start to feel numb, and you know that you're dying, you know that you're gonna die soon, and then eventually you're just completely numb and you die, but it doesn't feel like you're dead. Like when like it feels like your piece of consciousness, it's like it drifts outward, like like it drifts outward, and then like for me, it was brought to a place where I was able to revisit the life that I had just left.
All right. So continue on from there then. So you're there. You're seeing. You're viewing that life. This is the
Hmm.
is this the same plane of existence that you were asked, are you done yet?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So it's not like a question of that comes from a voice. It's more like a just a thought, like a thought that's that something or someone is projecting to me that says, "Did you finish?
Hmm.
Did you finish your experiences on Earth?" And
Okay, so at that point though, is that's a choice. That's a you felt like you were being given a choice.
yes, so my answers were uh no. I I didn't finish, and then the next thought at that the question that comes, I don't know how to say it because it's not you don't hear it. It just kind of the question becomes part of you. The thought, do you want to go back? And I would say yes, I do want to go back. So for me, I was given a choice. I was given a choice to incarnate again and again, and I made that choice because I felt like my experiences on Earth was not finished yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally does, man. Totally does. And so in these parts of the experience, you didn't interact with any other being. It was just
At first, I did. Like when I first like upon dying, upon my piece of consciousness, I'll call it that. Upon my piece of consciousness leaving my body, And going into the plane before reviewing that very life that I had just left, there are beings in front of me, and this part I'm having difficulty remember this particular part, but I know that whenever I do take time to write it down like that I will remember it all. But there was a moment, because I was in this space for a while. It wasn't just quick. I was in this space, and there was a moment of those beings coming to me, and it was like they were hugging me. But when they hugged me, it was like we merged, and then that was where that was when I went into that void to revisit the life that I had just left. I don't know if that makes sense.
You realize you asked that question, or you end up half your sentences with that. I don't know if that made sense. I'm with you, my man. I'm following. It's an incredible story and experience that that you're sharing.
And the thing is that, like, I don't know if everyone experiences it this way, or if every soul or piece of the grand consciousness experiences it this way. I just know that was what I experienced.
Mm-hmm. Do you recall what the beings look like?
Yeah, that is I do. Well, it felt like in that moment I wasn't allowed to see 100% how they looked, but I'm not 100% sure if I wasn't allowed to, or if I was having difficulty connecting more to seeing more of that experience.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was very new to me.
Mm-hmm.
It was very new.
What did you see? What do you remember seeing?
I saw 4 beings, 4 of them. They looked kind of like humans, kind of, but they looked different. They weren't. Um, this is the part that I didn't see fully. Like they were dressed very unique, very very nice, very unique. Um, and they emitted an aura, a very very light aura, that they were glowing, like they were glowing. And I'm gonna have to revisit that place to know more,
Mm-hmm.
or to remember more, because it's not coming 100% right now.
All right. So do you feel like you were seeing a memory? That's the one other, probably one of the last questions I'll ask with regard to this, and then I want to kind of get into some of our interpretations of this. But in that experience there, how much did it feel like you were controlling what you were doing, and how much did it feel like you were simply observing a memory?
In that moment of before I in that moment of leaving my body to reviewing the life, to having the option to either go back yet or not, I feel like I was more of the observer. I was more of the observer, because that part wasn't as vivid as, like, when I experienced the like when I was walking around. um, so, but then again, that was the first part of me experiencing that plane of existence. So I think that I needed time to connect more to it. I think it's all memories, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this experience this very moment of you and I being on this live, I think that's a memory that we're in right now. You know, past, present, future, it's all intertwined. Um, so there are future events that have already happened. And I think that that's a whole other topic that I want to write about, actually. So that's it's a whole other topic.
Okay, so on that whole other topic, because you brought it here, you can't blame me. You brought it there.
I know.
You know, I actually like this. I like sometimes taking it into territory of just almost just philo
Philosophizing.
that doesn't. I'm not even gonna try. Yeah, just pondering rather than speaking speaking truth, straight truth. It's fun to. I was telling one of the past guests this. Sometimes it's fun to push the boundaries of just exploring ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Now, okay, so you mentioned, you know, you feel like it's all memories, and you know, time isn't linear, which I do agree with. But I guess the thing that sticks out to me there that doesn't fit into that is how does free will play into that? Because if this was just a memory in the context of with the definition that we usually put to memory, then I wouldn't be able to alter it. But of course, I have the will to do anything. I have the will to in this moment choose what comes next.
Uh-huh.
So in through that lens, I feel like there's and again, of course, this is just like this is where we get into the mind bending stuff where we can't really even understand or try to, but it's still fun. Yeah, it's interesting because I have seen that or I have felt some sort of resonance to that idea that, you know, it's not as linear as we think, and there's a path, and perhaps this in some way has happened already, but at the same time we do have free will and we do have conscious control over what happens in this now moment.
Okay. So I think to add to that and kind of and I'll try to make like a correlation between the two. So there was a book that I read a long time ago, and I don't even remember the title. I cannot remember the title, but it talked about every possibility at every moment being an alternate universe, an alternate reality. And so tying into that, everything that we experience and go through has already happened, and we're just catching up. So free will tapping into, because how do we really know if we're changing anything? You know, how do we know if it's not exactly supposed to be the way it is in every moment because it's already happened that way? But anyway, sorry, I'm going into something else. So alternate realities, billions and billions and trillions and quadrillions and quintillions and so on and so forth of alternate reality based on every single choice. Yeah, every potential choice in any given moment that we choose to make, and we're choosing constantly to flow with that reality based on all of our individual choices.
Yeah. So okay.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I'm gonna build on it, and I'm glad you actually bring that up because this itself has resonated. I have felt a resonance with as well, and Ken, maybe we're onto something here, because Nancy in the comments also brings up the exact same idea. She just made a comment with regards to there being infinite amounts of parallel lives being lived in, and your conscious is the one, you're with your consciousness, you are ultimately choosing the one that you're currently experiencing in this now moment. Yeah, you know, I've kind of considered that idea as well, where it all exists. Every potentiality is existing, and in this now moment, this is how I've come to think of it. We are choosing with our free will. Free will
Hmm.
very much still exists, but with our free will, we are choosing what experience of reality we are tuning into in that
Hmm.
moment. And it's a infinite and just everything we do, it's just, rather than moving forward in time, it's just constant snapping um into
Into that
those
reality.
yeah.
Yes.
How, you know, so we talk about this, right? And it's just ideas ultimately, right? But I kind of want to bring up why I feel like this can be, how this can serve you, how considering this idea even can serve you. And this is how I've used it in my own life. And it's this approach of everything already exists, and it's up to you to tune into the frequency of the experience that you wish to experience. And what that opens up is infinite possibility, and the sort of empowerment that runs through you when you start to believe that anything and everything is available to me. And as the creator, I am able to shift into whatever experience that I wish to experience. And whether or not that is ultimate truth or not, I can tell you one thing for certain is embodying that is an unbelievably empowering thing to do, because it puts you in the seat of the one that can create anything. And that's why I resonate with that, not because I'm attached to the idea of it being true, but because I know when I resonate with that idea, it makes me feel, it allows me to step into that role of being a powerful creator. And why wouldn't you believe that that's what you are? You like it?
Love it. Love it.
There we go. So let's make it real, let's make it um practical, and let's use it. Let's apply this to do whatever we want with it.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I mean, and you know, just to give another example, even right now in this moment, like me and you on this live, there are so many possibilities. I could turn the camera off right now. A bomb could fly in right now, or you know, just so many other things. And I honestly believe that it's all happening at the same time, and that we're just continually choosing based on um based on what we are experiencing in front of us in the moment, and what we're choosing
Mhm.
um to do about it in the moment, like you said, to tap into that reality. Hope that
Love
makes
it.
sense.
If that makes sense. We're gonna have to work on that pattern. Okay, so I kind of want to get into this one last thing, because you did such a good job of creating the floor for this and sharing your story, um, and your experience in that higher dimensional place. Um, I want to get into kind of how, like, what's your interpretation of this, and how do we use this? Because you know, you saw this, you didn't see this, well, on one plane you saw this because you chose to, but I also do believe that you wouldn't have seen those experiences in the way that you just did unless in some regard it served you. And what I'm getting at here is,
Yes.
how are you bringing this newfound knowing into this life and into how you carry out this mission that you're on?
Well, as I mentioned before, the focus of this plane of existence right now is Earth, and we incarnate on Earth to spread love and to play a part in, I guess you could say, helping each other ascend. And how I'm taking that message now, right now in this moment, is I'm choosing to spread love, to spread light and to spread happiness, because that's the message. I feel like love, that inner love that comes before everything else, and that is the love that is what is beneath all the fear and all of the struggle, since it all comes back to love. And I feel that just sharing that message is what I can do, and if others can take the message that I'm sharing and expand on it in their way, then magic is happening,
That's the magic right there.
Yeah.
That's what we're here to do, team. It's everything always points back to the same place. Every teaching, every piece of wisdom, every experience that we have, every lesson that we embody, it all is guiding us back to the very same one message: choose love. Brother, I think that's it there. That's the cherry on top. There's no better way to wrap up this conversation that we're having here. But I think I speak for the two of us when I say we ain't done just yet. Well, tell you what, I want to finish up with one last thing before we call it here. And that's the ascending round. I know you've heard this one before. You're probably preparing for this one.
Okay.
My man, we're going to get into the ascending round. A couple of quick fire questions for some tidbit pieces of wisdom for our audience. First one here is 1 to 3 books that has had the most positive influence on your life.
Okay. Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. The second one, Becoming God by Ford. And this last one that I'm going to mention, I have to say this in the most dramatic way that I can. It changed my life. And I mean it in the most dramatic way that I can possibly say it. It changed my life. The book is called The Ultimate Truth by Michael Smith. That book covers so much, from science to philosophy to spirituality to religion to just so many things, and it connects everything together. And that's really what helped kickstart after my awakening, this journey of love. So I encourage everyone to read The Ultimate Truth by Michael Smith if you haven't already. It's a free archive book online. via a Google search. It's very easy to find. And if you want to, if you want to read it, then read it. So.
Thank you for that. It's good to know that it's online for free. So I'll also include that link in the show notes, of course. Thank you for those recommendations. I actually haven't read The Ultimate Truth, but that's definitely gonna have to go on my reading list after that energy you brought.
Ooh.
Next question, my man, is what is one of the best investments that you've made under $100?
The best investment under $100. How often do I spend under $100? How often do I spend over $100 to compare? Actually, I don't know.
I thought you would have spent some time thinking about this because I know you've heard the ascending round before. So I thought I thought you would have prepared yourself. Come on, you gotta give me something.
I'm so sorry. I've been so busy just in every moment, just thinking and doing and writing and stuff. So I forgot to take time for it. But I will say that the best investments were purchasing some of the books that I've purchased that have helped me along my journey of awakening.
I'll give you that. Once you don't use the books again for this question, you definitely better not say reading for this question. Okay. The third question, my friend, is what is one new habit, perspective, or practice that you have adopted within the last few years, something relatively new, that that has also caused for the greatest amount of change and positive impact on your life?
That I have the love to share and to spread as a message.
I like it.
That I've got it.
You got that love in you.
Yeah, we all do.
We all do. You know, it's the conversation in itself, but I feel like a lot of us hold ourselves back from expressing that because of fear of judgment, right? I know I've been in this place, and to this day I still deal with it. I know there's a love within me that I can let out more powerfully, but find myself holding myself back out of what really comes through right now is being overly concerned about how others might perceive of it, right? I've had people be skeptical of it before, and you know, of course, when you connect to this place, none of that matters because you can even be lovingly accepting of those people that aren't in a place where they can even resonate with that. So I think it's a beautiful and important point that you say, to remember that this love is within us, and the more we unfold into being comfortable and confident and just sharing that, the better off we will all be. All right, my man. My favorite question of the show. Damn, I snapped my fingers. You know what just happened, Sean? Do you know what just happened?
What?
I'm looking at the live stream number, the amount of people watching, and it says 7 billion and something amount of people.
7.68.
7.68 billion people are watching this right now. Oh man, we're caught live in front of the entire world. Now's your opportunity to say anything that you'd like to say to them all. Take it away.
Don't be afraid to love. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to be yourself, because we need more authenticity. We need more people to spread love. It's a beautiful thing. So just don't stop letting those fears hold you back from being your authentic self. And two, stop being afraid to love, man. Like, let it go. Love everybody. Love everything. This place that we're in right now, temporarily, it's wonderful. That's my message.
There it is. Sean, I want to thank you for coming on, my man. I know it had to take a little bit of, as it always has to take that step into some new territory, and
Yeah.
you did so with some power. You came in here, you came in strong, and I'm certain this ain't gonna be the last time that this happens, and I think this is only the beginning for you and for all of us, really. The other thing I want to say before we hop off here is to the community, to the tribe. If you guys have been involved and around for the last couple months, you would definitely know who Sean is, because this man has taken on a leadership role in this community. And yeah, see, I know in saying that you probably don't think of yourself as a leader because you're not doing it for the recognition of being a leader. You're doing it for the reason that true leaders do it, and that's to uplift others, to support others, and to help others people rise. And I do see you as a leader in this community. The amount of love and light that you've brought to us has been incredible. Um, I've told you this before. You becoming a member of this tribe was a bit of a catalyst. I noticed when you started to become active and share all that you had to share with us in the Ascenders Facebook group. That was part of a few things that I think really started to get the ball rolling. And
Thank you.
yeah, it's been incredible to see this group and community grow into what I've been wanting it to for about a year. And today I can say that I'm just so proud of what it's grown into, and the reason for that is because I have people like you supporting us and being a part of this thing.
We're all leaders. We're all teachers and we're all students. So I thank everybody. I love all of you.
That It's those sort of comments that makes you the leader that you are, man.
Okay.
Ascenders, actually, before we wrap it up here, Sean, I want to give you a chance to say any last things that you have, but also if anybody wants to connect with you, see anything that you have got going on, where would be the best place for them to find you?
Oh, anything that I have going on. Well, you could check out the spiritual guidance group that that I'm adminning in, and call Bryan out. Bryan's also adminning in. You can check that out. You can check out if you want to know about my music, some new stuff that I'm working on. You can check out my website, um, www.artistshawnmichael.com. Or if you just want to just see me, or I don't know, like send me a private message, like talk to me. I'll talk to all of you.
Where would they send the message to? Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook Messenger. You know, yeah, Facebook Messenger. Oh, Instagram. I'm on Instagram, Artist Sean Michael. You can find me that way. So if you want to send me a PM there, you can send me a PM there, and I'll answer. I love chatting.
Okay, cool, brother. The spelling, just to clear that up, is Sean, Sean
Yes.
Michael, Michael. We have the same middle name. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. I just knew that your middle initial was M. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, Michael as well. Another
Wow.
another thing we connect on. All right, my man. let's wrap it up there. I wanna thank you one more time. It was great. I knew it would be. We're definitely gonna do this again, and I want to thank you for being who you are, bro.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate being here.
To the tribe that is still with us in the live stream, thank you for showing up. And until next time, Ascenders, keep ascending.